Good afternoon. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Chris Ramirez, and thank you for watching KHOU 11 Plus. For our extended forecast, we are expecting mostly hot, humid conditions for today. It's going to seem like we're going to have less rain chance for this afternoon. And of course, less rain ultimately means hotter temperatures as we go into the hottest parts of our day, which is between the hours of 2 o'clock to 3 p.m. So we can't rule out still some isolated showers later today, but a few more storms are expected this weekend. We're going to see another round of that unstable air, that unstable atmosphere move on through, all thanks to a weak disturbance that's going to be just hugging the Texas coast as this high pressure system moves off towards California. So tropics are also ramping up. We're tracking 3 disturbances out there. We have some good news about that as we go into the next couple of days. So if you're heading out and about across the city right now, Bush Airport 91 degrees, Sugar Land at 90. You might be heading out for a lunch or maybe some errands. Just keep in mind, stay hydrated out there because it's feeling like 99 to 100 degrees, especially when you factor in that humidity, as we've all seen before for the past several weeks here, as we are sort of in the peak of summer for us here across Southeast Texas. Usually July, August, the hottest times of the year for Houston. If you are new to Houston, if you've been to Houston for much of your life, like myself, just keep in mind that this warm conditions are going to be lasting at least for the next month or so. As we look at the rest of our afternoon, mid-90s for those afternoon hours, it's looking more likely that we could get up to maybe 97, 98 degrees. I can't rule out us maybe hitting 100 at Bush Airport today. That's definitely a possibility. Might be around 99 though, but if that does happen, that would be, I believe, our 3rd or 4th 100-degree day this year. But looking ahead for the next few days, heading into the weekend, we've got a 60% chance of showers and storms for Sunday and into Monday. And so just keep that in mind. Each and every rain chance that you see for the next few days, it's going to be mostly in the afternoon hours like we've been experiencing. We usually have started off pretty quiet out there, very calm, crisp morning. But then as we head in the afternoon, you see these downpours just start flaring up out of nowhere. That's going to be the case at least for the next few days, especially as we head into the weekend. It's tax-free weekend. There's probably going to be a lot of shopping going on as students head back to school for next week. So it's going to be quite warm during the early parts of the day, but just also keep an eye on those afternoon showers and storms for this weekend. And if you are heading back to school, just keep in mind, might want to get some rain boots or some protective wear for those new shoes, especially as you don't want to end up with wet shoes, especially on the first week of school, if you do run into those showers and storms for dismissal. So parents, heads up on that. Looking at the hazy skies that we're seeing today, we have 2 areas of wildfires that are occurring here across North America. We have the Canadian wildfires that are happening just north of the Dakotas, and then we also have some pretty significant wildfires ongoing in Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico. And so we're being influenced by both actually areas of wildfires that are going on. So you have this high pressure system over West Texas. You're able to see the way that wind flows. It really just brings that haze in from the northeast of us. And areas like New York City, Chicago, they're being more influenced by the Canadian wildfires as you're able to see this low pressure system. Usually you see those winds heading into the northeast. So hazy skies expected for much of the U.S. as we go into the next few days because of those wildfires. They're dealing with some dry conditions out there, and that's expected to last at least for maybe the next 2 days. Radar's looking quiet at the current moment. Not really seeing much of any concern of downpours like we saw yesterday, but there is a few of these isolated downpours that are still hugging the Texas coast around the Texas-Louisiana border. And so as we progress through the rest of our day, Future Track is showing that we very well could see more downpours later on today, but they're going to be extremely isolated in nature and not as widespread as what we've seen. Usually, I think a couple of days ago, we had 2 days in a row where we've had these downpours that sort of just increasing size with that really just remained stationary and brought tremendous amount of lightning with it. And we're not going to expect to see that for today. We're still being influenced by this area of high pressure that's currently situated over West Texas. But for the weekend, the reason why our rain chances will be ramping up is because this high pressure system is going to start moving off towards the west over Arizona, Southern California, and that's going to open up the door for another weak disturbance to hug the Texas coast, bringing in the chance for some showers and storms for those afternoon hours for Saturday and into Sunday. And that's why why our rain chances will be ramping up for this weekend. Unfortunately, this is going to be lasting through the start of next week. It's nothing too unfamiliar like we've been experiencing all summer. We're just going to keep those daily rain chances in place each and every afternoon, at least through Tuesday and into Wednesday of next week. So just keep that in mind, that each and every afternoon as we head into Wednesday, likely to see some maybe isolated downpours across southeast Texas. And it's all thanks to that sea breeze frontal boundary that loves to move inland during the warmest parts of the day. That sea breeze front brings those showers and storms to us here across the area, and that's why we've seen those flaring up of random storms that usually happen, even though much of the day has been pretty quiet. So the tropics are also still a bit active, but we are seeing some good news. We were tracking this disturbance that was just off the coast of the Carolinas. Yesterday it was around 30% and went down to 20 in the latter part of yesterday, but now it's at a 10%. So it's really more likely that this is going to be weakening into nothing, and it's really just coming into contact by cooler waters that were left over from Tropical Storm Dexter that has already, weakened into a post-tropical depression. There's also a wave just off the coast of Africa that has a 50% chance of development. It's very well likely that that system is just going to remain, if it does form into anything, it's likely going to fizzle out, but it's going to remain a fish storm and not really pose a threat to any land. So the good news in all of this is that no threat to southeast Texas for the next 7 days, as these systems are remaining just well away from the U.S. However, things are going to change somewhat. Weather models are hinting that we could see 2 more waves emerge off the African coast for next week. And so this is what we're really going to have to watch, because models are hinting that these are going to might survive the whole long track towards the Caribbean as we go into the middle of next week. So something to keep an eye on. Not that this is going to form anything, but it's far too early to tell where these systems might be going. So it's something just to definitely keep an eye on, and we'll keep you up to date on that on KHOU.com, as well as on the KHOU 11 app, and as well as with our extended forecast that we usually do throughout the day. So if we do get another named storm, the next name on the list is going to be Aaron. We still have Fernand, Gabrielle, Umberto, Imelda, Jerry, Karen, Lorenzo, Melissa, Nestor. And so the good news is that we really haven't been through much of these names, but also just keep in mind that we are heading closer to the peak of hurricane season. We haven't even got to the peak of hurricane season yet. Most of Houston's historical storms that we've been impacted by has happened in August and September. Some notable storms: Hurricane Harvey. It was Tropical Storm Harvey when it hit Houston, but of course that was a tremendous amount of rain that fell with that storm. We had Hurricane Ike that happened in, I believe, in September. You had Hurricane Katrina, another September storm, but also just keep in mind that we're heading closer to the peak, so don't be caught off guard and stay ahead of the storm if you are moving about across southern Texas as we head into the next few weeks. The temperature outlook, this is from the Climate Prediction Center. They're calling for above normal temperatures. Usually for this time of year, high temps here in Houston usually get up to around maybe 96 degrees. And so we're going to be above that as we head into the next few days. The live look right now, looking at Energy Park, we're seeing those hazy skies. Remember that haze that I was just talking about earlier? That's why you're seeing those hazy conditions out there at the Astrodome and the NRG Stadium there. Looking at the next few days, we could see that haze last, but as far as your 7-day forecast, we're expecting it to be mostly just hot and humid. Humidity just not going away. Just get used to the humidity, because we are not expecting any cold fronts that are going to bring us a tremendous cool down anytime soon. We're just going to have to rely on those rain chances that could cool us off later in those afternoon hours for each and every afternoon, especially for this weekend. So keep that in mind if you are planning those afternoon activities, and don't be caught off guard by those downpours that usually just sort of flare up and pop up out of nowhere. So just to kind of sum this up, we're seeing those hazy skies, all thanks to that these wildfires that are happening across North America, in Colorado, New Mexico, and then even in Canada, they're dealing with some wildfires as well. But as far as our weekend, just to kind of recap, highs in the upper 90s, lows in the 70s, 40% chance of storms for Saturday. That rain chance will ramp up for Sunday afternoon and into Monday. So keep that in mind if you are doing those last minute shopping plans. I know I was one of those ones that usually told my parents, hey, I need this school supply list that right before when I really needed it. So if you're doing that last minute school shopping plan, I just laughed there because that just brought back so many memories. High pressure system bringing hazy skies, but we are expecting those conditions to remain mostly just warm and humid. We might see a downpour or two later on this afternoon. you're seeing a flaring up of some of those downpours that are just along the Texas-Louisiana border, but not seeing much in terms just off the coast of Galveston. Usually when we see that increased rain activity, usually see those storms that are just offshore and then they move inland. We're not seeing that today. So rain chances looking less likely as we head in the afternoon, but we can't rule out maybe a few isolated downpours for the next few days, especially as rain chances will be ramping up for the weekend. So as far as the current air pattern across the south central U.S., high pressure system will be moving off towards the west. That is going to be bringing that chance for rain with a weak disturbance for the weekend. But just to kind of sum up our 7-day forecast, we're expecting rain chances to ultimately be in the picture each and every afternoon for the next few days. So keep that in mind as well if you do have those outdoor plans. Just the humidity is what we're really going to have to keep an eye on as we go throughout the weekend into the weekend. First day of school for many students out there. High of 97. Lows are going to start off in the 70s. Could see those storms in the afternoon hours, maybe for dismissal as the kids catch that bus home. Don't want to be caught out there. Maybe send them with an umbrella or a rain jacket, and maybe save the new shoes for later in the week, because we're expecting those afternoon rain chances to last at least for Tuesday and into Wednesday. And of course, we are going to do our best to keep you up to date with the latest weather updates here across Southeast Texas in the Houston area, and make sure to tune in later today for the KHOU 11 news at 4 p.m. Of course, I myself will be giving you the latest weather forecast as well as the news headlines, and you can also catch Chief Meteorologist David Paul starting at 5 p.m. with his extended stream that will be occurring at 6:30. Have a great rest of your day.